Hi everybody. I thought I would try to start kind of an update video. It's been a little bit since I've kept everybody updated. I've just been tired and grumpy and just not getting anything done, so it's hard to think about what to show as far as updates. So it is Memorial Weekend, and before I forget, I think about the real reason for Memorial Weekend and that so many people made the ultimate sacrifice for this country, and how many families are thinking about that this weekend. So that is definitely in my mind today. I came up here to sit on the hill where it's quiet. Some of you know from my Instagram that my Daisy dog, the rat terrier, the older, she's a senior, she was I think 12 years old, passed away recently. I'm gonna try to remember to put the link for the video, very brief video, in the description box below. But I learned the hard way that compost piles can have toxins, fungus and mycardio, I don't know, some kind of poisons that can kill dogs very, very quickly. I did not know that. I know country dogs can eat a lot of stuff out in the country that makes you want to throw up as a human, but they're fine. So I'm sitting up here. I came up here to her grave. I had planted an azalea and a couple of 3 coneflower plants, kind of to mark her spot. Warren came up the weekend right after Daisy passed away, and he helped me dig the spot, so thank goodness for that. I wouldn't have gotten the hole dug very quickly at all if it wasn't for him. So I'm still going to fill this in a little bit more as it sinks in, with a little bit of mulch, a little bit more dirt. That's as far as I've gotten. I chose this spot because it's at the top of my yard, and I'm up here kind of by the road, and it's where I'm going to put my color garden. There's the backlighting, you can't see very good, a crepe myrtle, and then there's a crepe myrtle over on that side past the picnic table. But down there at the house, you can barely see the house, she would sit on the back of the couch and look out that window and keep an eye on this area. So I thought this would be a good spot for her. So yeah, I just haven't been getting much done around home, so there hasn't been much to talk about. It feels like my lawnmowers are broken, both of them. The push mower, you guys watch Chickanic. There's a lot of how to fix things tutorial videos, but she explains everything, including what size of bolt nut remover she's using, all of that stuff. So my push mower, I think it's the carburetor main jet, which is just a little plastic piece, because I could start it if I had the cover off and squirted starter fluid down there, but then if it died or I shut it off or I let go of the handle, it wouldn't start again. So I got that part in the mail. I'm hoping to work on that maybe this weekend. And then also my riding lawnmower. This is my yard. This is what my yard is made of. This is what everyone's yard is made of. These rocks, it's nothing but rocks. And so Tree Stabbing Troy joked with me. He's funny. He joked with me that a woman breaks something and blames it on the ground. Well, yeah. my neighbor down the road has gone through 3 mowers, and yeah, so it's really hard to get people to come up here and mow for you because it's so rocky and etc., etc., etc. So anyway, I broke the spindle pulley, the pulley that spins the blade under the deck. I broke that because I went down one of these hills and clunkety clunk, it's like a roller coaster. And so I broke that off. So I tried to take it off, but so far I'm not strong enough to, you have to hold it on one end and kind of turn it on the other end, and because it's broke completely out of the deck, so it just spins. And so I'm going to take the deck off and have some friends help me take that pulley out. So I've got that going on. I've let almost all of my vegetable starts inside die. Oh my gosh. I'm not focused. I'm not getting things done. And so a lot of them died. But the peppers I put outside, the peppers for Survival Seeds 2025, I put them in I moved the green stalk tier that they were in the house. I moved it outside. So I'll show you that. I hope I remember. I haven't made any more progress on my pea gravel barrier. I have made progress on catching rainwater. Last night I got home and moved about 150 gallons from my tote, my rain catchment, to my cistern. I was so proud of that. So once I cleaned the nasty tree droppings, little things from the trees, out of the gutter, I got some really nice clean water. So I wonder if I can, it's beautiful. I lay in bed every night and count my blessings because that's my view from my bedroom. Count my blessings for being able to be up here. Love it. So I watch the sunsets. Sometimes I'm asleep before the sun sets because I usually go to bed so early, but I watch the sunset starting to happen and it's gorgeous. And I count my blessings. So let's see if I can catch you up. Maybe a slideshow, maybe video. I don't know. We'll see. But Memorial Weekend, keep in mind the people who lost their lives in service of this country. So, okay. I'll go back down the hill and see if I can get some updates for you from this weekend. Coming down the driveway from up top, that's where I was just sitting. This is my daylily patch. The young lady at work, I call them ditch lilies, those orange daylilies. They were so pretty last year, so they're just getting ready to think about having some flowers. I'm so excited about that. I ran over some of them getting out of the driveway. I either back down here, because I had the camper down there by the house blocking the U driveway, circle driveway, whatever. So backing down here one night, I ran over the edge of those. Yes, tree stabbing Troy. That was my fault. I drive terrible. I do drive terrible. So I ran over the edge of them. But hopefully they'll keep growing. I want to get in there and get some of these cut out of there. There's a whole bunch of berry bushes. Raspberry, black raspberry. I'm not quite sure. So they move down towards the driveway a lot. And then last year I planted some iris. If I remember right, they're purple and yellow. Look how good they're doing. I hope they blossom. This is, I was going to say my current crochet project, but I have several that's half finished in the house. This started out with my oldest son asking, hey, what was that thing that you gave the dogs when we went camping? That blanket so they could stay warm, paraphrased of course. You put it on the ground, or when we were camping, etc., etc., and then like camping where, because I've camped all kinds of places. Here at the shack before the house was built, in the shed. Do you mean my canvas and flannel sleeping bag? Which dog? Daisy 1? Oh, he said, yeah, maybe Pennsylvania. I said, I don't remember camping in Pennsylvania, but he and I both have memory issues, or difficult with details. Not Pennsylvania. I said, how about Green Ridge? Oh, Green Ridge, yeah. That was Daisy 1, another rat terrier. Isn't that interesting how 2 rat terriers named Daisy came to live with me? But anyway, oh yeah, that was Daisy 1. It was wool. It was crocheted. Well, I didn't crochet any wool. You guys put it on the ground and covered her up. And all I could think of is Warren had a wool poncho from, I guess Peru. You know when you go to big craft festivals, country craft festivals, and there's the South American tent with all the ponchos and shawls and blankets and things, and they're wool and alpaca and etc. We figured out, I think that's what he meant. Well, I can't crochet that. That was woven. But I did have some fisherman's wool yarn, a couple of balls, skeins, that I was going to use for hats. And then I didn't get around to it. I said, sure. Oh, so this, backing up, this was because his dog Radley, an older, he's not senior, well, he might be senior by now. We got him from the shelter. Ryan, my son, adopted him, so Radley came from the shelter, and he's part lab, part pit bull, and part whatever, mutt, and we thought he was part Rhodesian Ridgeback because of the way his hair is on his back. But anyway, yeah, Radley gets cold when we go camping. Can you crochet a blanket like that? So I started this since I already had the skeins. It is turning out great so far. I haven't gotten very far on it. I'm making it as wide as his doggy bed, off the ground doggy bed, and then I'm going to make it as long, I hope, I make it as long as, so it can double, so they can either put it across him in 1 layer or 2 layers. But that's what I'm working on right now for my grand dog Radley. I'm really liking it. I thought I wouldn't like wool. I thought it would be too scratchy and yucky. But this fisherman's wool by Lion, whatever. I can't do this with just one hand. Lion brand. I'm liking this a lot. I really like. It's 4-ply, worsted weight. It's not thick and chunky. At first I thought Radley would need a thick and chunky yarn when I was looking through my hoard of yarn. So it's just worsted weight. But I really like it for this project. So this is what I'm working on. It's not going to be symmetrical, the stripes and stuff, because I don't feel like keeping track that closely. So it's just going to change colors whenever I feel like changing colors. So that's what I'm working on right now, but it's starting to get chilly. So I have tomatoes out in the only thing I've planted out in the actual veggie garden is tomatoes, and I put a sheet over them because west of here, I saw that there's an alert for a possible frost. What in the world? Our last frost is supposed to be Mother's Day-ish, and we're past that, so I don't know. Anyway, That's all on my, I guess, current whip. Kitty, kitty. Hi, cat. Hi, cat. So, I did work a tiny bit. I've got everything just all spread out here. I worked a tiny bit on my survival seeds plants. Survival seeds 2025 is the hashtag. And these peppers, early California Wonder bell peppers, I had started in the house in this tier with a new plant light that I got. I really like that plant light. And they started, well, I started on the plant shelf first with the heating pad, or the plant heat pad. And then I moved them to the tier on that shelf with a different light, and they're doing great. That's about all I've got left. So they're just starting to think about getting some blossoms, I think. So they're doing good. The oregano has been off and on, off and on. So I brought what little bit survived out here. And then there's one teeny tiny, out of all those little onions I had started, there's only one teeny tiny onion that may or may not be surviving there. And then over there I've got the lemon balm in a separate container. So my survival seeds 2025, I let most of them die off. I did stop at a nursery yesterday when I was doing my errands. I stopped at Wild Roots Cafe and got some pastries. Oh my gosh, so good. And I stopped at the post office and went to pay my mortgage, and also stopped at 2 nurseries on the way home. So I had let my pumpkin plants die, and maybe my pumpkin plant starts. And so I'm going to try to restart those, but in the meantime, because I don't know if I have enough growing time left, I bought some starts at the nurseries. So I got pumpkin, one thing of collards. I may have gotten, I should have stayed in there. I got 2 different little flowers and a squash. I can't remember what all. So other than my tomatoes down in the veggie garden, I've got 3 tomato plants down there, but one's looking terrible. And then these peppers, that little tiny bit of oregano, one little teeny tiny onion, and the lemon balm is most all of what I have. My Egyptian walking onions, they're still maybe alive, and I'm kind of glad I didn't put them out. If we have cold coming in and maybe frost, I'm probably glad I didn't get them put out. So, cat. Hi, cat. Hi, cat. So I've got to get these put back together. I took them all apart for this tier, or for this tower, because I wanted to make sure to put some new dirt, fertilized dirt, and some cow compost manure in there, and then restack them. So that's why they're kind of all over the deck. And I was going to try to keep my survival seeds in this one container, but I don't have that many plants that have survived. My survival seeds plants didn't survive for the most part. So anyway, I guess that's all the rambling I need to do for now. I don't know. I guess I'm going to say see ya. And I may or may not have some slideshow or little bits of things after this. Hope you're doing well.